Imagine a job that pays nearly double the national average. A job where virtually, if you want to get someone else on the payroll, you can get a friend across town and do his. If it sounds like you could clean up on a job, you'd be right. Just apply to the New York City School of Education or Board of Education and tell them you'd like to be a school custodian. But here's the thing. Cleaning up as a New York City school custodian doesn't often mean pushing a broom, because custodians are more like building superintendents than janitors. They're responsible for keeping the school well maintained and clean. And not many people support this. I mean, if you were to watch a 60 Minutes report back in 1992, you would understand what I'm talking about here. But towards the end, I'm watching this broadcast and I'm like, janitors are getting paid too much, like twice than what we're being paid. But for now on, here's how it's been from now on. Janitors have now been reported to the principal's office for all the maintenance stuff. And they've had to cut up a lot of money here for stuff like this. And if it were to snow, how much money would you be throwing away for the snow? It costs you nothing, because by the time it happens, snow would already be clean. But remember that janitorial crap. Now, you can see its construction like I talked to you about when we did our special. Now you can see it very closer. This is $250,000 that we're spending our tax dollars on. The whole reason for this is just basically because the teachers don't want to get their raises. I mean, that was last year. Now, they decided to go for progressive bid. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the COVID cases. The latest right now is 4.35 million. With deaths of over 74,000. Tests have been taken. We have over 920. Positive tests are 101,000 with 11.0 million. Hospitalization, we have people who are hospitalized, is 53 million, 0.8 million. Positive ICU is 13,796. Vaccination is just one dose. 18.1 AM and like 64.8% with 55.4%. Again, I've been telling you guys this. You've got to make sure that you're being vaccinated here at this point, because if you're not vaccinated, we can't go back to doing the things normal around here. And history, in 5 years, this is my third time doing this from a sting zone location. Now, I take every topic very seriously here. And from point A to point B, I'm already done with the topic like that. But in some instances, I'm not done talking about other issues. Like, I'm staying on this issue, staying on the case until new developments happen, or until December 13th. But before we get it, I want to throw out some real issues here. I mean, first of all, masks should be strongly encouraged. I mean, it has to be worn like this, not this, nor this. And if it's too loose,
we'll try this way.
Just try it like this. It's for people who aren't vaccinated. Just trying to understand that. Wash your hands every 30 seconds. Disinfect your area all the time. Because because germs can spread very fast. Speaking of germs very fast, you need to wash your hands every time. We're going to pass the brush every hour. It's a half hour. Because of changes, okay. It has to be a half hour, depending on the changes. Make sure it's hot water. And always make sure and disinfect your area where you're done every time so that we don't have to be in this mess. Be in a lot of this mess. Social distance. Huge encouragement. A lot of schools encourage this. I mean, a lot of schools mandate masks. Mainly because of the governor's orders. Not many people follow those governor's orders. Even some schools mandate, and parents are just angry. They'd rather march out and protest or whatever because it's their First Amendment right. Your child's under 2, no mask. If your child's 5 and over, they're eligible for the vaccine. Make sure you talk to your kids about the vaccine. It's very important to talk to your kids. Medical condition, well, you got to wear your mask, and if you don't feel comfortable doing that, wait outside. Let's get vaccinated so we can go back to doing the things we love to do. Next, there's the latest on the shooting There's the latest on the Oakland shooting. We're going to give you the very latest and give you up-to-date information. We'll be right back. There's new development tonight in the case of the Oakland school shooting. Let's break it down for you in case you missed it. The state attorney offers to investigate. The parents and the son are at the same jail and on suicide watch. There was a man in there that helped the parents out in his workspace at Detroit, Michigan. The superintendent calls for the third-party investigation. Also, reopening plans for school. Plus, also the court date's happening on December 13th. By the time this happens, we'll figure out whether charges or jail time should be filed against this. And there's also one thing. He had the gun in school. So the question is, why couldn't they just search the locker? Well, if they had to, they would have had to, but in this particular case, they decided not to. Look, something has to happen here. You may have your own opinion about whether they did it or not, whether they couldn't do it because of issues or not. Well, I think they should have done that. After that, they should have searched their lockers, searched their bags, and a lot of things would have happened. And steps would have been properly taken. Like a month before the shooting, there was a school shooting training video about this, and there were a lot of good things happening. You need to make sure that you've got to make sure that you need to make sure that your kids are being safe. And as for parents, you need to start searching your child's bag before they go to school. Not every day, or just like once or twice a week. I mean, if it gets to the point where your child starts lying, then okay. But we have to protect our kids. We have to protect our children. We have to protect our students. We have to make sure that every kid gets their education while being safe. And at this point, in this case, the 4 kids did not survive. In this case right here, it's just simple as swatting mosquitoes. Fix the problem, solve the problem. Think about the bullying cases. Bullying cases at school, they know nothing about it, but the offer is they settle out of court. And a lot of things happen because of this. Like, parents are getting involved. Like, what's happening? What's the huge deal? Well, let me tell you what the huge deal is. The huge deal is no one cares. Like in these bullying cases, nobody cares. And To put it quite simply, if everyone cared about this, they found a solution. Take the case of a junior high school that was on 2020 back in 1997. These two kids were being bullied, and the situation here that happened was aides with walkie-talkies. Did it work? No, it made things worse. That's why there are laws to protect students. And equal rights have to happen. Sometimes every school fails to follow that law. Sometimes schools, most of the time schools follow that law. Some of the times they just don't follow, and others don't care. Equal rights has to happen. I mean, every kid is being picked on, and the child is choosing to run away from school because they don't want to deal with this crap. I deal with every issue in this topic, and I take it very seriously, like this bullying problem. Bullying, cyberbullying, I take every topic very seriously. I take bullying and cyberbullying very seriously. And there comes a time to where we have to make sure this doesn't happen again. And people take the proper steps. What are those proper steps? By making sure that all schools have a bullying policy, and if they don't, come up with one. It's not swatting mosquitoes, it's just helping the community and the parents out so that this doesn't happen again. And both the bullies and the parents need counseling. You can't discipline a bully because of this and that and the other, according to Dr. Phil. But there are steps people are being taken, and a future episode will tell you about it. But we have to take a short break here. There's more when we come back, especially from Carroll High School, so stay tuned. Christmas coming up in a couple of weeks, and you don't know what to do for your big dinner thing at Christmas? I've got some ideas for you. And it's just traditional turkey, but if you don't have turkey, well, you've got the chicken. You don't have the ham, chicken. Or a Cornish game hen would do. But there are some other ideas. You've got the maple glazed ham, you've got the stuffing, you've got the roasted turkey, you've got pork chops, roasted potatoes, brisket, roasted butternut squash, a potato leek soup. You can even make Christmas cookies. You can also make, what you can also make is just basically a butternut squash soup. Like you could do a regular butternut squash soup, or you could try to kick it up with some smoked sausage, wild rice, and some sweet corn. Yeah, that's kicking it up a notch for you. Also, potlucks is a great thing. If you did baked potato, if you did do what I did a couple years ago, try a twice baked potato casserole. A lot of casseroles in this thing. It's that potluck thing, you know. It's the huge opportunity of potluck. It raises the bar high, you know. You've got your twice baked potato casserole. You got your green bean casserole. You got your souffle with sweet titer. Sweet titer souffle. Gotta have your golden souffle with sweet titer. So those are some of the ideas for you guys if you're planning on having a huge dinner for Christmas, because Christmas is coming up in 2 weeks. And speaking of Christmas, you may realize that Walmart and Target are extending the shopping hours. I don't know why, but that's exactly what they're doing. And you may have discounted coupons, so if you're looking for some coupons to save up your money, just look them up on the internet, and we'll have some links in the description below as we go along. Or check out the Give Me a Break website, which is jkermit67.wixsite.com/givemeabreak, which I need to change it, by the way. You also find some great ideas of what to give for your family for the holidays if you run out of money, and some ideas for your kids too if you still run out of money. Because Christmas is the time of giving. You can also go out, do some Christmas carols like a friend of mine does, who wears the red and blue. He walks around Waldron a lot, blah blah blah. He's got the white hat. He's got the blue, white, and green hat. That's the Texas A&M University. He doesn't go to Texas A&M because he never goes to college. He cares about his home. And he cares about his fans and his family. Now to the latest on a Carroll High School thing that happened. If you guys didn't know, a week after the shooting, there was rumored to be a threat happening of a shooting that happened in Carroll High, and what I've now learned so far from our Facebook group is that the threat has been moved to here in the Bluff on Monday during that time, and proper steps have been taken. So who's taking the proper steps? Carroll High. And what does it say? Well, let's break it down for you. Threats and rumors of a shooting that happened yesterday. The principal of Carroll High School notified parents at 7 a.m. Steps are being taken for safety purposes. And what I mean by that, these safety purposes. Bag checks will be performed by campus administrators with staff and security involved. The CCISD and CCPD will be increased during school hours. The single point entry will occur through several points. Restroom / out of class passes will be minimized to reduce the hallway safety. I mean, these things have been happening. All these threats happen. The whole reason is, I guess the whole reason why people threaten not to go to school is just because nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't want to go to school. Nobody wants to go to school. Nobody wants to learn. I mean, it's the law. You may say that and go, well, when I'm president, I'll have to change that law. Well, good luck with that. But think about it. What are you going to do without a high school education? What are you going to do? You can't be working at McDonald's without a good high school education. What are you going to do? Work at a farm without a high school education? You can't go to college without credits. You can't pass on to the next grade unless you have the right amount of credits. I mean, that's why my old school has had this 90% rule. What does it mean? You gotta have 90% credit in order to get a 90%. Attendance has to be a 90% in order to move up a grade. And there's a lot of issues here. I mean, a lot of issues here on the Bluff, like this behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the almost finished progress here. I mean, this is the whole start. This is the whole thing here. $250,000. Let me run you up to speed. Last year during COVID, during the pandemic, the school board decided to close down the whole area, but a little mix-up had happened. They didn't want to go with Progressive's bid. They didn't want to go with Barcom's bid, so they decided reject all bids. All in favor? And close it down first thing tomorrow. That's exactly what happened until months ago when they decided to go with Progressive's bid. Now, I haven't got a chance to talk with the construction people yet, but someday I will. And that will be a first. Now to something you may not have realized. If you heard of Better.com, you may have realized that CEO decided to start firing people over 90 to 30 people. I mean, fired a lot of people, but he did come through and apologize. That was the CEO and apologized for firing all these people because they had families and stuff. What were they going to do? Not come to fire them because of a lot of issues? Maybe, but again, you can't fire people when it's Christmas. If you fire people when it's Christmas, it's just as simple as firing someone because of a lot of issues. I mean, if I were to be fired because of what I did, like over 900 people because of an issue here, then basically, it's just as simple as saying, look, we don't care. I don't care what you did, what you did not. I'm firing you. Get out. Unacceptable behavior. But there is some good news. The CEO came out and apologized for firing these people. Did they, I don't know what happened, but I hope it resolves out for these people. And I hope that CEO learns his lesson about firing over like 900 people. Okay, what can you do if your child plays violent video games or animated game under the age of 18? We'll tell you when we come back. Well, now we're out of time. I'm going to keep this short for you. How can you tell when your kids are playing violent video games under the age of 18 with the M-rated sign? Well, to keep it short for you, I'm going to give you that simple answer. Take it away from them. Take it away, hide it in the safe, put it in your dresser drawer, lock it in the closet, put it in the vault. That's just simple. But we're going to continue this tomorrow and Comedy Break Wednesday as this continues. And I'll give you the very list of Comedy Break right now through a reaction video on Thursday. So look forward to those. Look forward to this topic. That's all for this edition of Comedy Break Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow for Comedy Break Wednesday. Good night, everyone.